as much as I can into the speech. I had a whole year to prepare, but of course, I wound up staying up till 3 a.m. to finish it. This is a first for me, so please forgive me for reading too fast, sounding too cynical, taking too much time, and focusing on our demise. And I see Milosevich is here. I didn't know Lou's son actually went to school here. I apologize for what we did to your convertible years ago downtown. Sorry. This speech should be life-altering for you. I guarantee you, if you follow some basic life rules that I'm going to rattle off, it will surely save you some time, heartache, effort, and money, and at the very least get you thinking. And all of this will be on our website soon, velkomilo.com. My first name Velko, and then Milo, MILO.com. It will have this speech and everything mentioned in my introduction and much more, including my script called The Gentleman. The film script is both hilarious and horribly tragic. It takes place here, and I crammed everything about the prep in there and poured my heart and soul into it. I'm sure you would enjoy it. Maybe someday it will be a movie if I can scrounge $5 million or so. And actually, this is my second go of it. The first was on May 20th, 1984. It started off with slight rain. It was overcast, and I remember speeding up Telegraph in my grandfather's Olds 88 with my brother. It was my time to shine in the old gym behind us, but my valedictory speech was insipid and paltry because at 18 years old, I didn't know that I didn't know anything and had absolutely nothing enlightening or engaging to say. I was not aware that my prefrontal cortex was still 8 years from being fully developed. So now exactly 39 years later, I'll try to redeem myself from that wretched performance. Why am I up here today? Who am I to have 800 people graciously listening to me? Was it because of my athletic successes in high school and college? Was it the several businesses I started, my UFC fights, or my time with Delta Force and Dev Group? Actually, no, because none of that ever happened. I'm just a regular guy with a regular job. I had mediocre SATs. They were even worse the second time I took them, but I got good grades because of my diligence. I'm not going to blather on about the old days except for one story. I would say the prep was a little Wild West back then, slightly unsupervised. 250 of us lived in the dorm. There were fist fights, smoking, firecrackers in the classroom, the theft of all Rich Cheshkowski's earthly belongings save the clothes he was wearing. In front of the field house to this day, there's an island with a good chunk missing from the curb. And here's the story. Senior year, one of my friends, not using his real name, of course, let's just call him Gregory S., had his old giant Cadillac here. It was after midnight, and Greg and I and another guy, we'll call him Matt M., we're leaving the dorm. Matt wore these Dutch clogs with thick wood heels that were completely unseen in the US at that time. We decided it would be hilarious to knock on the dean of men's dorm room and then take off. Knocking wasn't enough, so Matt began donkey kicking the door. It sounded like gunshots. We ran to Greg's caddy and peeled out, screeching tires. Not sure if Mr. Baranowski was awakened. Going quickly towards the field house with tires smoking, Greg fishtailed and the left rear tire smashed the curb, jumped onto the island, and knocked the light post down. We exited onto Commerce Road and onto Greg's house. The car was now galloping up and down because of the canted tire. Baranowski must have woken up because we were pulled over by the cops, but there were no criminal consequences. You guys have one thing that I will never have, and that is youth. Youth and wisdom are inversely proportional. You also have another thing that I will never have, and it's that sloppy puff hairdo, that inverted bird's nest thingy. As a fierce libertarian, I say, wear it as you see fit, but mark my words, at your 10-year reunion, you'll be laughing. And if you want to see a true hairstyle horror show, go look at the 1980s class pictures. Back then, hair covered the ears and was feathered back, a la Farrah Fawcett with the blow dryer to get the right swoosh. How many of those nightmare styles even came into existence is beyond me, and I admit I fell victim. So why am I up here? It's to share all that I think is necessary for you to live a happy and productive life. I can say that because I'm happy, healthy, and productive, as of this moment at least. Happiness and health, these two words are the basis of life. Without them, you have nothing. My happiness goal at 18 was $1 million and a cool car. Now at the wise age of 57, my goal is still $1 million and a cool car. There is a Latin phrase Memento mori, remember you will die. Steve Jobs could have built a hospital overnight and flown in every expert from around the planet, but he couldn't be saved. The death thing is a huge motivator. The clock doesn't stop. The older you get, the years will completely blow by. You can always make more money, more friends, buy more junk, but the one thing you can't make more of is time, so don't waste it. Someday you will be on your deathbed praying to have your worst day back. Until then, you have another day to go to the gym, listen to Surfing USA by the Beach Boys, sit on the shore of Orchard Lake and gaze at Apple Island on a rainy day, or watch a Three Stooges episode, particularly the one where they have to take care of Bust-Off, the wrestler. You and only you determine your happiness. It's not mindless pleasure or a drunken, irrational self-indulgence. You will not find happiness externally or from others. It is completely internal and is that sense of satisfaction from achieving one's goals. Once you reach your mid-20s, that's it. Your personality and philosophy have been solidified, for better or worse. You will fall somewhere between a complete mess and enlightenment, and it's entirely up to you, underlined. To help you navigate life properly, you need a map, a philosophy, and it should be made explicitly. Most people have implicit philosophies and moral systems. They live life only as unquestionably taught by mom, dad, friends, the tribe, some book, or some ninja drifter on the internet, which will only lead to inconsistencies and errors and time wasted. I will refer you to a graduation speech called Philosophy, Who Needs It?, given by Ayn Rand at the U.S. Military Academy. There's also a great interview of her on YouTube with Mike Wallace. It's a must-watch as you try to figure life out. Many people go to college and get stupider and deeper in debt. Don't smirk at the plumber you called to fix the toilet, that guy in dirty clothes with the beat-up van, because that dude just took $300 from you in 45 minutes. Intelligence is overrated. I can actually see the dorm room from where I stand, where one year someone crawled into bed and covered himself in despair. I looked at the report card he threw on the ground, all F's, D's, and maybe one C. No matter, this person plugged on through life and is well-rounded and successful and intelligent. My dad had to quit school at 16 to work in the family bakery only 2 years after arriving in the US. He and mom started their second careers in their 50s by opening a restaurant. The first few years were rough and slow and full of anxiety. They knew nothing about restaurants but worked like demons. Through sheer persistence and determination, without bank loans, these two immigrants created a success. My friend asked my dad, "How do you create a successful business?" My dad responded, "Give me two stupid guys." He didn't need an MBA with a 180 IQ and a laptop. They needed two guys to get their hands dirty and stay until the job was finished, and then come back and do it over and over and over. My mom is 77, and she's working at the restaurant at this very moment. It's simple. Show up, shut up, and do your job. And regarding relationships, I know you're bummed out because Elizabeth Boogercoffer, the only love of your life, just broke up with you, and it's the end of the world. You're hurting, you've decided to be a eunuch and live in a missile silo near Chugwater, Wyoming, but do not despair. We've all been through it. Just give it time, and you'll soon meet Jenny Bug Eyes and get along just swell. I promise you. Once you've done your job and have that philosophy, you will save countless time, not wander aimlessly from arbitrary whim to mindless opinion, not knowing exactly what is right and wrong, having endless discussions about things you have no clue about, what is real or how to live a proper life. I have wasted that time for you and took notes, and here they all are. Nature to be commanded must be obeyed, and no man is free who cannot command himself. You can smoke all the dope you want and pretend the world is something it's not, but the facts will prevail. There's the way it is and the way you want it to be, and they are not the same. And wishing does not make it so. You have 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth. Use them proportionally. Don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. Be open to everything and attached to nothing. Take nothing for granted. Challenge every assumption with logic. Use only reason as your guide, and don't expect to use reason on a person who has not reasoned themselves into their beliefs. Don't let yourself be at the mercy of those who have none. A problem is ignored is a problem never solved. Lay down, you'll get walked on. Correlation does not equal causation. Don't worry about making friends. Good friends make themselves. Learn from your mistakes, but better yet, learn from others' mistakes. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. Nothing is foolproof for a sufficiently talented fool. Don't do it till you get it right, do it till you can't get it wrong. And all I want to know is where I'm going to die, so I'll never go there. Don't do stupid things with stupid people at stupid times in stupid places. Acta non verba, deeds not words. And remember, you are your word. The word no is very simple. Learn how to say it. Someday everyone might leave you, your kids, your spouse, your friends. The only one you will have left is the dude in the mirror, so you better be really, really like yourself. Do sweat the details. The decimal in the wrong place at the hospital will kill you. Take your time and read the fine print, because that's what will put you in court. Don't rush anything, and be wary when somebody rushes you. 2 is 1, 1 is none. Cheap is expensive. Buy once, cry once, and buyer beware. If you permit it, you promote it. Avoid conflict, but know how to fight. Stronger people live longer. Life is hard. It's even harder if you're stupid. Read Sophie's Choice by William Styron. Read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Start that Roth IRA as soon as possible. Learn how to invest and not speculate. Don't ever be afraid to say, I don't know. Be the best rocket surgeon you can be. Behave as if your life depends on your job. From Emerson, write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. He is rich who owns the day, and no one owns the day who allows it to be invaded with fret and anxiety. Finish every day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. Begin it well and serenely, with too high a spirit to be cumbered with your old nonsense. This new day is too dear, with its hopes and invitations, to waste a moment on the yesterdays. Once you guys leave this campus, you will enter a cruel, cold, indifferent world that doesn't care about your hopes and feelings, how much you bench, or how smart you are. You will encounter people who hate themselves and will constantly try to bring you down to their level. You will be surrounded by bad drivers, whack jobs, and douchebags blind to your cause and pain. Protect yourself and recognize that you are an absolutely precious individual and exist for your own happiness. Keep your head on a swivel. Help only those that deserve it. Be kind and polite, but have a plan to take out anyone in the room. Find, relentlessly pursue, and perfect your happiness. Things change. Get used to it. Win some, lose some. Mow your lawn. Stop tailgating me, because nobody is coming to save you. Everything is your responsibility. Don't stop working the problems. And remember, you are a meat-covered ghost made of 13.8 billion-year-old stardust, riding a rock that's spinning through space-time. Take your gift of youth and go. Go do something to ease the pain and ugliness and suffering. Go fearless, smiling, into that brutal world and do extraordinary and wonderful things.